Hey, Mike here from learndevops.com.au. Head on over there if you want to learn more about DevOps, and head on a little bit down on the page and you'll see there's a link there to our Discord server. So listen, what I want to talk about the Linux distributions that I see in the wild. Which ones are the ones that you should really be concerned about? The ones that I see the most, probably in order, are Ubuntu, CentOS, RHEL, and then pretty much nothing else. I don't think I've ever seen, obviously never seen Slackware. I've never seen Fedora on a server. I've never seen, God, there are just so many distributions. It's always either Ubuntu, CentOS, or RHEL, sort of in that order. So Ubuntu is the one I see the most. I'd probably say I see that probably about 80 to 85% of the time. And I think it's just because it's so accessible. The package management system is well understood, and the repositories, the canonical repositories, the ones that they manage themselves as a vendor, are generally kept very much up to date. So you can usually get the latest package from there. And if not, then most vendors tend to have their own apt repository you can very easily plug in and start using. Then you got like CentOS, and obviously CentOS is now run by Red Hat. It was originally the upstream for RHEL, and maybe it is still that. I've not really kept up with that, to be perfectly honest with you. But I do see it a lot in large organizations and government. Oh, actually, I would say that CentOS is there. It is up there in the sort of government and large enterprises, but it's definitely more RHEL up there at that end. So I think because RHEL costs money, a lot of companies sort of go, well, I want the support from it, but I don't want to have to pay for it if CentOS is getting me almost the same thing, and I've got this team of engineers over here that can do the job for me. What do I really need support for? So you tend to see CentOS more than you see RHEL, but for those companies that value having another organization or the vendor of a product support them so that they can sort of point the finger and say, hey, you need to get this fixed, then RHEL is their option, but it's mostly CentOS. But overall, right across the market, I would say that Ubuntu is probably the most important one out there. Now, there are a few other things that I want to discuss, but just before I do that, again, head on over to learndevops.com.au and just check out that Discord button. Just give it a click and head on over to the community and let me know if there's a Linux distribution that you use that I've not mentioned. I believe CentOS, Ubuntu, and RHEL are probably the most popular. But did you know that Netflix use FreeBSD a lot? I believe on the CDN, at the very edge of their network, they use FreeBSD to operate that, which I think is really, really cool. Unfortunately, you don't really see much FreeBSD out in the wild in large organizations in government. It's just primarily Ubuntu and CentOS and RHEL. So what I would say is, overall, I would say you should probably learn Ubuntu mostly, but also get a good feel for RPMs and just the sort of CentOS RHEL ecosystem and understand how that operates and where things are on the file system. But a good basic grounding in any sort of Linux distribution is going to set you up quite nicely to just move from one to the other, to be perfectly honest with you. You don't really need to deep dive into each one in order to do your job as a DevOps engineer. You do need to know them fairly well, but get the basics covered. Probably start with Ubuntu and know enough so that you can get enough done, and understand that with time, your knowledge will get deeper as well. So with real experience, your knowledge will get deeper as well. So don't worry about going too deep with that. So that's just my opinion. Let me know in the comments below if you have a distro that you feel you've seen in the wild that I've not even mentioned. And again, head on over to learndevops.com.au. If you want to have a little chat, just hit that button and that'll head you over to the Discord server. Thanks very much. See you later.
Very nice.